One of Grumpy Kong's post-game challenges in Donkey Kong Bananza is the boss rush. This is a 5-battle back-to-back rush section of the game with no checkpoints, meaning if you die you have to start from scratch. Here's how to get through these bosses. The first boss is a huge rolling lava-bound enemy. This guy looks fairly scary, but he's actually quite easy to take down. At the start of the fight, get out of his way when he charges, then grab a nearby piece of fallen snow. Chuck the chunk of snow at the boss to send him reeling and make him vulnerable to attack. When all of the snow has fallen and cooled him down, use your charged or regular punches as Kong Bananza to break through and hit the boss and once again send him reeling. Once you've knocked the boss flying, you'll then need to deliver another hit in order to actually do damage to the boss. Now you can chase after him if you want, but that method is a bit hit and miss. Instead, I recommend grabbing a chunk of the ground and you can either throw it straight at the wall that he hits, or alternatively wait for him to move and you'll notice he comes to a slight stop after moving. Throw the chunk at just the right moment to land a good solid hit on him. Now the next stage is to grab a piece of snow nearby and wait for him to play his animation of getting larger into the next boss phase. As soon as he's out of that animation, throw the chunk at the boss to once again send him reeling and cool him down. Repeat the earlier steps 2 more times and you'll have won this fight fairly fast. Not bad. The next boss is the nasty plant type boss from the forest layer, and this time with a few twists. The whole area is covered in poison liquid, so you'll need to use Ostrich Bananza here to fly from the extending gold pillars one to the other, and then hopefully make your way to the actual platform where you can change to Kong Bananza and do some damage to the boss. The general idea is to go from gold pillar to gold pillar. You might need to break some of the gold along the way to refill your Bananza meter. If you can keep this up 3 times total, you'll have taken this boss down with relative ease. He's not really that hard once you learn the patterns and particularly where to fly as Ostrich Bananza. Use the video here as a guide. Now the third boss in this rush is probably the hardest one. This is the Blusterwing from earlier in the game, but this time he's a bit trickier. Right at the start of the fight, use Snake Bananza to perform the glare move by holding and then releasing Y. This is going to slow down time and give you a bit more time to react. Now switch over to Elephant Bananza and vacuum up some of the rocky terrain below you. Be careful not to vacuum up the water because you can't do any damage to the boss with bits of water. Once you have some rocks in storage, tap ZR to hold them above your head and then carefully aim and throw them at the boss's 2 wings. This is tricky. You may need to use Snake Bananza again to glare again and give yourself more time to aim. With 2 good solid hits to the boss's wings, he'll now be downed. At this point I recommend doing another Snake Bananza glare to slow down time, then quickly change over to Kong Bananza, go over and stand on top of the downed boss and then mash B to punch downward repeatedly and hopefully take him out as quickly as possible. If you've used the Snake Bananza glare, you should be able to do this before lightning strikes causing you a lot of damage, so ideally you'll have knocked him out before that happens. The 4th boss is probably the longest boss in this particular series. This is the Muck boss. Now for him, once again you're going to need to use Snake Bananza to slow down time and give yourself a bit more time to react, because this arena can get very messy very fast, with lots of muck being thrown at you, not to mention falling objects and those 2 salt pillar enemies. You'll want to use Elephant Bananza to vacuum up the salt, store some in your trunk and then throw chunks of salt at the boss. Careful aim here will be rewarded. It's going to take quite a few chunks to get the boss into a vulnerable stage. Once you've melted through enough of the muck, the boss itself is going to become visible and you can use Kong Bananza crossing over there to give him a good jolly beating and do some damage to the boss. Repeat this a total of 3 times and you've won here. Again, remember to make use of Snake Bananza and be very careful as to the debris and various other hazards around you. You don't want to get hit by a nasty stray particle. If you've made it this far, well done, you're almost there. There's just one more boss to do, which is a spiky concrete Stompenclomper. That's quite a mouthful. This particular boss is probably one of the easier ones. Just simply grab some terrain from beneath you as Kong Bananza and swing round those heavy pieces of concrete to break the boss's feet. Once both feet have been broken, the boss will be put in a downed phase. You'll need to smash through more spiky concrete, which you can do by grabbing some of the gold chunks beneath you and throwing these at the boss to cause an explosion. Then just punch away at the boss for a total of 2 phases, repeating this method, and you'll have won here. Again, if you want, you can use Snake Bananza to slow down time and give yourself more time to react, aim throws, etc. and so forth. Very handy ability overall. So there you have it. That's how to get through all 5 bosses in the rather tough boss rush mode in Donkey Kong Bananza. Practice makes perfect, so persevere and you'll make it through to that lovely banana reward. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe and ring that bell. Thanks for watching.